So we've done favourite Bond, we've done the villains, we've done the gadgets. Is there a bit of music, a Bond music, that stands out, a theme song, a piece of music?
I think he'd be hard pushed to beat Shirley Bassey singing Diamonds Are Forever. For me, it's really, really strong. In fact, it's probably stronger than the film, for me.
It wasn't a great film, was it?
Not the greatest comeback for Sean Connery. It was still good. It just seemed a bit more violent, a bit more harsh, and it didn't quite feel the same. But it's a really powerful piece of music. And for me, as I say, I think it's probably as strong as the film. So I would go for Shirley Bassey singing Diamonds Are Forever.
Favourite music, though, I think, would be Her Majesty's Secret Service, because that has definitely got the best soundtrack. It's got the worst Bond in it, with George Lazenby.
What?
Yes.
He was dubbed, though, wasn't he, in most
know.
of that film? I understand. George Baker.
But the soundtrack is really great. It's got the best soundtrack, I think.
Before we choose a favourite film, but best, most inspirational or moving or enjoyable music?
I love so many of the soundtracks and the music. The two songs that stand out to me in particular, that I really struggle to choose between the two. I love Skyfall by Adele. I think that's a great song. Really, really is very good. But for me, it has to be Nobody Does It Better. From some Spy Who Loves Me. Because, that's James Bond. Nobody does it better. And it's and that sums it up, it's a great song. Pretty Carly Simon. Marvin Hamlish, I think he was the writer and composer. And it sums up James Bond to me, that particular song.
And if you had to select one of the Bond films to date, that's the real standout, it's the favourite, it's the best, whatever. I mean, is there a difference between favourite and best Bond film? I don't know.
No, I don't think it is. I think for me, favourite and best of film is the same, because favourite and best almost implies I become a film critic, and my film critic hat says it's got to be Spectre, but for me, personally, it's got to be, Goldfinger. I think for me, favourite and best when it comes to film itself it is the same. So I think I'm going to go for is it going to be Man with the Golden Gun, or is it going to be The Spy Who Loved Me? I'm going to go Man with the Golden Gun.
Wow.
Yep, I'm going to go with an early one.
A terrific film, very close to the book too.
Yeah.
But wasn't the biggest box office.
No, and I think
they were a bit worried about Roger as Bond.
Well, of course, he did the first one in 1973. They used to do them a year, 2 years apart. With him, they wanted to get a couple out quite quickly. So you had Live and Let Die and Man with the Golden Gun with 73, 74. It was a bit of a rush, perhaps. And so they just tinkered around and waited. And I think Spy Love Me was 77, so they waited. And they do that nowadays. They actually wait a lot longer, and they bring them out. It's much harder to make nowadays, I would assume. Although we say that, but actually technology being what it is, it was probably just as hard 40 years ago. I remember speaking to one of the producers several years ago when I was doing a book about Pinewood Studios, and they said, imagine 30 years ago taking a crew of 300 people out to a location in the middle of nowhere with no mobile phones, no ways to communicate. So it's probably just as hard to make the films then. But for me, as I say, I think what I like about Man with the Golden Gun is I like Roger's performance. I like Christopher Lee. Britt Ekland's in it. It's fun, and it's got a good baddie in it. So I'll go for Man with the Golden Gun.
So I have my favourite Bond, but he wasn't necessarily in my favourite Bond film. I think my favourite Bond... I actually like the Daniel Craig series, and I think Skyfall as a film is really good. Because when you watch the older Bonds, they're fun, but you sometimes go, oh, that's a shame. I mean, in Goldfinger, he has that wonderful car, Aston Martin. He uses all the things, but he doesn't get away in the end. He ends up crashing it. You think, what a waste that is. Because that would have been my favourite gadget, is Aston Martin. And my favourite film is Skyfall. But Sean Connery really is he's the James Bond that I think that Ian Fleming conjured up. That's the thing.
But people say Timothy Dalton was that.
He was good. He was a bit cold in some of his films, I think, Timothy Dalton. That's why people didn't warm to him, because he was a bit... But he was good. He was very sort of straight.
Out of all of the Bond movies, if you could pick one...
I think if I could pick one, I think it would be... and again, you'll have to prompt the title, where they meet the sheriff. And in Mississippi,
that's called Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die. The chases and that. Yeah. His character, that comedy character, made it great for me.
Because he turns up in The Man with the Golden Gun, which is Christopher Lee. But You first see that character in Live and Let Die. which
Yeah,
is the first
so
Roger
I'm going to
Moore movie.
choose that.
Great. Live and Let Die. So you're going to choose Live and Let Die.
I am.
No.
Yeah. And the main reason is for that character and all the chases, you know, the speedboat through the Everglades and all that. Must have been a nightmare to shoot.
I should think it was.
But yeah, a lot of action, big Bond action movie, and that character, I think,
Wonderful.
just swings it for me.
Well, I think we mentioned on Emergency Secret Service. I think that's an excellent movie. I love From Russia with Love as well. I think that set the scene after Dr. No as to where James Bond was going. And I really enjoyed that. I love The Living Daylights with Timothy Dalton. I thought that was a great movie as well. And of course, I don't think Daniel Craig's done a bad one, to be honest. I think they've all been good. So really happy with that. But for me, it's becoming a bit of a cliche, but I would say Spy Who Loved Me is the one. That's the top one.
I thought that's
It's a great film.
It's an amazing movie. And,
Yeah.
1970, and the first one that Cubby Broccoli produced on his own,
Yes.
having the partnership with Harry Saltzman being dissolved because
Correct.
of Harry's financial problems.
Yes.
But a triumph for Cubby because it was huge,
Oh,
hugely successful.
yes. I don't think they expected it to be quite as successful as it was. But you can see why, because it's a quality film. Really good quality film. Great
Right.
story as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Great, thank you, Mark. So that's our overall summary of the James Bond franchise, of our favourite Bonds, the movies, the music, the gadgets, and the villains. And it's a fantastic franchise, and really, it's all terrific. But if you have to pick some favourites, as we've done, that's our contribution up for debate. But come back to us again in future weeks for more editions of Film Talk as we compile our greatest 100 films of all time, certainly in our opinion, which is what Film Talk is all about. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.